Hey everyone, welcome to Someone You Need to Know. I'm your host, Rashanah Baldwin, award-winning journalist, powerful storyteller, and social architect. Each episode, we dive into the stories of trendsetters, change makers, and everyday heroes who are shaking things up and making a real difference. Get ready to hear the good news you won't find in the headlines, inspiring stories of people leaving the world better than they found it. Now, let's dive into someone you need to know. Can you talk more about Developers U and how long is the mentoring and the cost?
Yeah, first of all, the social media space is something that I've never ever gravitated towards. Like when people
And
tell
you're
me about,
all over it.
huh?
You're heavily saturated all over social media.
Now, right? Because I met Jamal King and all them guys, right? And they was like, these guys are multimillionaire. I'm like, okay, doing what? I don't think you multimillionaire doing no rehab. Like, prove that to me. I know how to do it, but I don't think y'all know how to do it. So they was like, no, we're motivational speakers, like Eric Thomas and all them. So once Jamal, yeah, CJ, Toby, all of them guys. So once they, kind of like brought me into their family or whatever, I started seeing like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like social media is a platform that can be utilized in a very positive way, just like it can be, you know, bad for some people. So as I was looking at this, like, man, well, how much do ET making? Like, oh, ET get paid like $1 million every hour that he talks. I'm like, what? I can talk. I can talk a whole lot too. You know what I'm saying? And I can talk engineering. I could talk numbers. I could talk development. you know, I'm not a minister, so I'm not going to talk about the Bible and anything like that. We got people to do that. It can't be everybody, but I do know religion, spirituality, like probably more than some people would realize. So just that social media space, they were showing how people are out here charging $20,000 a class for development, renovation. $20,000? Like what comes with that? A house at the end of the class? So,
Right.
so
It's a lot of scams. I've seen them, yeah.
yeah. So I said, okay, well, if I don't need money and my cause is to try to create as many Black developers as I can, the head person in charge, because the first thing is that the definition of a developer is that he controls the whole project. You got to buy the land, you got to find the architect, pay him to design it, find the contractors, have them give you quotes, find a lender, get the loan, acquire the loan, then pay the contractors to build it. And then when it builds, you got to have a real estate person on your team to know the ARVs and all that stuff to make sure that it's a profitable project and you're going to yield a return on it, or you're going to keep it for 5 years or more and rent it out. But all of this stuff is like you're in charge. As an architect, I'm just one attribute of that whole, spectrum of things. I got one part. As a finance person, I got one part. As a GC, I got one part. But as a developer, I control the entire thing. That thing happens exactly the way I want to. So if I can bring people into my educational institution, if you will, they're not only gaining the knowledge of development from architectural view, construction view, finance view, developers view, you're learning my humbleness, my spirituality, my my cause, right? For Black people to come together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more than just a developer class. I could teach development like, all right, now go do what you're gonna do. I'd holler at you. No, I'm trying to get people to change their mindset as a philosopher, as a psychologist. Let me change that psychological sense of community. Let me change your brain to get you to start thinking differently and more of a sharing and caring role than just I'm finna get rich real quick. Johnny taught me how to build a house. I'm finna get paid. I ain't working with y'all. No, I need everybody to come together do your first project, build your house. Now you know, and you're getting acclimated on how to build a house. Now build two houses or build a 2 unit. Okay, you got that. Now do a three flat. Eventually, you get yourself up to a high rise. It's the same thing they do when they come in the office. But if financing is always the culprit of the thing, if I got 20 people in the first cohort and 10 of them are successfully complete the class, I know I got at least 5 people that can come together. Now I got people in the class that might be NBA player, basketball, football players. Like it's people that took that class. I was like, man, I don't know what you do, but it seems like you got a lot of money, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, sis, like you just sitting around here with like $4, $5 million in the bank, and you came to me to learn development. Like this is great. That's something that I didn't anticipate. So now I'm like, oh man, social media is actually working, like you said. But it does. It's got the gift and the curse. Then you get some people in here, hey, everybody just come and stand behind me. I'm gonna pay for one class and we all watch it and learn. Like you just start like, you know what I'm saying? It's new.
How long is the cohorts and what can they get out of it and what is the cost?
So the cost is I think it's like $989 for the first 8 weeks. It's 1 hour, 1 day a week. And you're gonna and that's 8 classes, right? So you're gonna learn like finance is one class, architecture design is one class, construction is one class, stuff like that. So for under $1,000, you get the 8 weeks. So you learn theory about the whole process of development. Now I say your flag is flying half staff, right? It's not fully you haven't graduated yet until you build the structure. You know, it's too many people out here who say they developers and flippers and rehabbers and stuff and haven't done anything. So when I see people, no disrespect, MOT people talking about we finna build a high rise, and I'd be like, man, you ever built a dog house, bird house, mouse hole, anything? Oh, nah, man. Okay, do you still pay rent, bro? Yeah, I still pay rent. Okay, well, how you talking about you finna build a high rise? Yeah, I don't care no more. You know what I'm saying? I hope this shit go viral. It's sad. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm cool with manifesting anything, but goddamn, you gotta have some type of logic behind it too. You just can't, oh, I'm gonna speak it into existence.
You do not
Who's
run
that?
into those type of people. You're joking, right? Those type of people come here.
Yeah. It's like it's just gonna happen. Johnny, God said that you was gonna build it for me and you was gonna finance it and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I think
So
that's a really crucial point to like hone in on because I run into similar individuals who think that they could just get some community grants, get some of the city stuff. And I was like, I think you all laid it out eloquently on the panel that we had last month. You need to have a job. You need to keep
yeah,
your day job. You actually need to have some money. $10,000 is not money.
it's not money, especially for this. So that's why I kept the price under $1,000 because people in the social media space was showing me like this is dude down in Atlanta. His course is $30,000, and then he took people money and they never built the stuff. So I'm like, oh, I need to let me create a course and let me create a development proposition or whatever where there is no way anybody can go back on social media and say he screwed us out of our money and he didn't do what he said he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? So when you get into the course and when you finish that 8 weeks, I'm going to present you with another offer to be a development partner. And the way that it's set up is like, you don't just give me money and you wait for something to get built. Like, oh, I gave Johnny $100,000. He said he was building this high rise. That's what DJ Envy and all them guys did in New Jersey. Took people money, and them people was like 2 years later, like, man, I ain't seen no check. I ain't talked to them, and they still riding around in new Range Rovers and stuff. And one white couple took a flight up to Jersey, rode past the site of the building, and said, "It's been 3 years, and this building looked exactly like it was when we first invested. Like, like it hasn't even been had the demolition work done yet." So I was like, "Oh, I don't do that." Me teaching people how to be developers is like, hey, you need to go buy some land. Now I can point you in the right direction to where the land is at, Or I might say, hey, I got some land for sale. But once you buy that land, the end of that part of the development process is over. Like that was a transaction. You gave me $5,000. I gave you a deed to land. That's a good exchange. That's not you gave me $5,000 and you waiting on me to build a house and get your $5,000 back. Because you got to learn how to build a house. So the first thing you need is land. Go buy some land. You got to buy it from me. But if you ain't got none and I happen to have some, this is how much mine costs. And it's a good deal. What's the next step? Okay, you got to get some designs done. Guess what? I'm an architect. You ain't got to come to me. I'm still going to be the owner's rep, your instructor teaching you through this process. Your land could be in Mississippi. Your uncle could be an architect. Your father can be a general contractor. You like a one-stop shop. I love that. I welcome that. But if you don't, then it's like being in an a la carte restaurant. Do you want macaroni and cheese? Because it's gonna cost this much. Do you want a salad? It's gonna cost this much to have a full dinner. You know what I'm saying? So first step, you acquire land. Next step, you need the architecture to, to design something, meet with the mayors or the aldermen to make sure you're doing something that they respect and want to have in their community. And then you got to get construction estimates. Go to your uncle. Oh, you ain't got your uncle? Then guess what? I'm here to help you with that because I'm a GC too. So now I can do your estimates for you because that's what the bank's going to be looking for. Okay, you probably got good credit. You probably don't have good credit. How do we solve that? Okay, I'm gonna bring in somebody that can help you with your credit. If you don't have the credit and you're ready to move and you got your financing, pretty much in place, like you didn't need financing, you can finance it yourself, then I'm like, okay, we can get started. We can skip that step. Or there's ways now in the financial market you can piggyback off of other people's credit now, it's a non-guarantee for the person who you're piggybacking on. Like they're not gonna be calling you talking about, hey, I loaned, Rashanah $400,000 and she had you down as somebody or whatever. Now they calling me every day. They don't do that. Use the guarantor or whatever, so it's a lot of programs out here. So once you get to that step, then you got to build a house. You got your uncle. You got your uncle, you can come to me. Next step, you want to sell the house. You don't have a realtor, I got a realtor. Or you got a realtor, sell the house. Oh, I don't want to sell the house. I want to rent it out. Rent it out. Do you know anything about renting it out? If you don't know, then I'm gonna teach you how to rent it out. You know what I'm saying? So I created a program after the 8 weeks to say, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to get you to build a house and have that experience under your belt. Whether you got some of the pieces already lined up for you or you don't. You know what I'm saying? But there's an exit in every step to where you can't come back and say, well, Dr. Mullins screwed me out of my money or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm taking you every step. You're gonna get your own financing. You're gonna get your own design. You're gonna get your own builders. You're gonna get your own real estate person to sell it. You know what I'm saying? So
This
that's
is
it.
actually an amazing program, and I'm glad that you're making it affordable. And within the program, do you offer, the list of individuals that can reach out to for financing or for, architecture?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's
So
great.
I have two people coming up today. So when we get to the finance class, they're taught by somebody else, like one of my finance guy, this person, my other finance guy. So they come on and then they get your information. We make them do a personal financial statement, which now after I learned so much from the first cohort. So the second one gonna be a little different. Like I think I'm gonna start off with like, hey, everybody submit your PFSs. If you don't have that, that's the first thing we're gonna do is your personal financial statement. So you can understand where you're at. And I can understand where you're at because a lot of people will waste your time too. You know what I'm saying? It's still under $1,000, and I'm gonna give you every ounce of whatever the person with money you're gonna give you, but it's still gonna let me know that okay, you're a few years out from developing stuff because of your personal financial statement. And oh, this guy or this girl is like can build a high rise immediately. You know what I'm saying? With the right partnership or whatever the case may be.
So from luxury towers to the historic exchange project in South Shore, what's one of the projects that you're most proud of in building and overseeing?
So the most project I'm proud of building and overseeing is 225 North Elizabeth. It's actually called The Elizabeth. If people want to look it up, just go online, say The Elizabeth, and it's gonna pop up. So it's a high-rise building in Fulton Market. I've probably built maybe 7 buildings in Fulton Market, which is was heavily a West Side meatpacking district back in the day. And that just shows you like why does 79th Street look so horrible? Why is 63rd Street? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you could take a meatpacking street, Fulton Market, Halsted, West Side, and turn it into a gold mine. That's better than Rush Street now. You know what I'm saying? That's Chicago's new Rush Street. That I got to get people to stand in the middle of 79th Street, look east, look west, and say this could be Fulton Market. I got to get people to that 75th, 87, 63rd, 59th, 47. This can be Fulton Market. That's part of what I'm trying to do is like, dude, if you can visualize it, you can visualize it into existence. You know what I'm saying? So, and we have all of these neighborhoods that are, like I said, the first house I built based on sociology or whatever. We still have these inner city communities, and what's actually happening is they're trying to push us out to the suburbs now so they can come back and take advantage of all of these natural resources and things like that. So they coming for it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it can be a 40-year plan, so it's like you got to be ready. Just because somebody builds a building on 47 and says it's affordable housing, yeah, okay. It's affordable housing now. Let's see what it's like in the next 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Is there some type of reverter clause in the development agreement that said it can never not be affordable housing? Because if you didn't do that, then you need to come take my class. Point blank simple.
Of which June is National Homeownership Month. What is your take on the current state of affordability, specifically and access to homeownership in Black disinvested neighborhoods?
All right. So as a PhD person, I get to define stuff, right? So I define stuff because we write the books, right? So if you have a master's degree, that means you've mastered something. That means that you can regurgitate it, you can teach it, right? PhD is basically we write the books at this point. It's what we come out of our mind, out of our research, and then you can go master what we wrote, right? So I don't know what you call that, God or something. I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but so when people say affordable, I have argued in some of these rooms with Governor Pritzker. Everybody's like, JB Pritzker, guess what you live in? An affordable home because it's a house that you can afford. So why do we have this somewhat negative definition for the word affordable housing? When you say that in a certain room to banks and finance people, they like, even aldermen now. I don't want no affordable houses in my neighborhood. It's bringing my neighborhood down because that ain't affordable housing. That's a different type of house that you don't want in your neighborhood. Elon Musk lives in an affordable house. That's something that he can't afford. Jeff Bezos lives in an affordable house. There is something he can't afford. He can't afford my land for $10,000 because I ain't gonna sell it to him. So it's not affordable. So what I try to say is that the real definition is based on the area that you're in, you have to say, okay, here's the market study that says that the median household income in this area is a household family of two making $60,000 a month. So if you're not supposed to go more than 20% of your income, then affordable or what we say market rate is this amount of money. And then we say, okay, now that I have the benchmark set for market rate, right, which is the one that should be the baseline benchmark. Then I say, okay, well, what's under market rate? It's below market rate. So I changed the word affordable to below market because it changes. If I'm in Calabasas, California, somewhere about Coachella, it's affordable is probably $2 million for a house. But in Inglewood, it's probably 200, you know what I'm saying? So now we got market rate, below market rate, and above market rate. So I got to get people to think about that first so that they can shine away from saying affordable because I hear all the aldermen now, like, I don't want no affordable housing in my ward. It's like, dude, we trying to get rid of homelessness. We're trying to help women who have children and their husband passed away or husband was not a good person or whatever, and vice versa, men that need help. So whatever you want to call it, call it that, but don't discredit, affordable housing. If you do, then let's just say below market rate housing and we'll get it done that way. because it's people in our communities that need housing. And by you saying that this is awareness month for affordable housing or whatever the case, it's like it's needed. When you see all these homeless people out here, you're like, bruh. And I'm passionate about that because I've experienced homelessness. You know what I'm saying? So that's another part of the reason why I went and got the PhD, because I'm like, I gotta solve the problem. And the first argument I had with my chair in the PhD program was, I was like, oh, I'm trying to solve a problem. PhD is not solving problems, Johnny. It's about adding on to other people's research. I'm like, man, well, I come from a science background first, architecture, engineering. Now I'm in this, PhD stuff. I'm like, hey, whether you think I'm gonna solve a problem or not, I'm solving a problem. And the problem that I'm solving is homelessness, and to provide housing for people that can afford them. You know what I'm saying? So change the terms or whatever you want to, but the goal remains the same. We need more houses that people can afford, because we are put in a situation where we don't have the jobs, we don't have the luxury, we don't have the what do they say? The odd middle numbers in the social security numbers, so the banks can know that you white or whatever, and they can give you the credit. You ever heard that? All
Oh,
black people, all black people, middle two numbers are even, and that's how they know not to give you the loan.
wow.
Something like that. I was like, what?
And it's even when you combine
You know
my
what I'm saying?
oh
So,
wow.
because I've done research on everything, and I've talked, I got a lot of white counterparts, that fight for black people in so many words too, especially in that community psychology space and the activist space. You have a lot of mixed couples. So they like, no, we got to help black people too. And they'll tell you like, hey man, what's your social security number? What's the middle two numbers? You're like, damn, it's an odd number. Then you go to a black person, what's your middle two? And I'm like, man, somebody told me this in the 90s. I'm like, is that really real? Like they really have something with redlining and white flight and all this stuff that really pigeonholes us into a certain box to where they'll automatically know, like, no, don't get that person alone, not for over there, because we already got that for something else coming. So just shun, shoot them away. And
How are you addressing it as June is coming up and June is National Homeownership Month? How are you addressing that specifically where we're talking about the disinvestment that continues to happen in our neighborhood around
yeah.
homeownership?
So what I'm doing is basically going around to some of the most disinvested communities in Illinois first, right? You would think that Inglewood is the most disinvested. It's not. My eyes opened up when I taught for 2 years at a school called Keller Middle School in Robbins, Illinois, when another doctor asked me to come out there. It's like, John, we need more black men at these schools. You know, all they see is women, and we need discipline, and these little boys are not having a mentorship. So I donated 2 years of my time to go out there and basically work for free. In so many words, you got to check, but it wasn't nothing like what I'm used to getting. And I saw that I had to wear so many hats. So it opened my eyes to like, man, Robbins, Illinois. I was like, there's a gold mine out here. You sitting on the Calsag River. The first thing when I was talking to the mayor, he laughed. I said, hey man, we're gonna develop Robbins, bruh. I'm gonna go talk to JB Pritzker, um, Cook County president, everybody, because this is ridiculous. Like I can drive for 20 minutes and be in Mississippi. No disrespect to Mississippi, but the part where I'm from, the Delta. And I was like, do you know what you have? So I said, I got to take my own time and money and design this whole city, do a master plan for the whole city. And I designed stuff like on the river, like Ravinia, like we got to go all the way up to Wisconsin to enjoy concerts and things like that, and deal with their rules and regulations. And I was like, I can stop all our people from going to Ravinia and put a Ravinia in Robbins right on the water where you can pull up with your boats, you can drive, we got parking, we got UV charging stations. It's nothing but land between Pulaski and Kedzie that's undeveloped. So we've got to start there, because it's so much that can be a long stretch from Pulaski to Kedzie with nothing but parks, recreation, because we're losing our social touch based on technology. Me and you talking right now over a computer, What if I want to give you a hug? You start crying. I'm like, oh, I want to give you a hug. I got to reach through the screen and hug you, whatever the case. So I'm trying to change that social impact too. I'm trying to create more spaces where people can come, talk to a real human being, give a person a hug, shake their hand, feel somebody else's skin. We're losing that. I don't have to ask you in person the answer to anything anymore. I can go right to my phone. Usually I'll be like, hey, what was the score last night of the game, man? You're like, oh man, I think it was like 68 to 40. Oh man, I don't want New York to, and we even engage. Now I can go to my phone and be like, oh yeah, New York Knicks won by 4 points, blah, 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 all this type of stuff. And I'm losing more and more social impact. So with Robbins, and because of this week or whatever, I'm going to like Maywood, um, Harvey, Robbins, because, and this is why, because we still don't have the right administration in the city of Chicago to assist us as a people the way that we need to be assisted. What I've learned in my PhD studies is that, hey, we have to be treated a little differently, you know what I'm saying? Because of our economic status, background, where we are, all of that type of stuff. You can't put us in and give us the same rules that you give the other races, because those rules were made by those other races. And now you're trying to get us to fit we circles, and you're trying to get us to fit in a square. It's like it ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Or a square into a circle. You got to do something to say, okay, for the black people in Inglewood, if I want them to develop this and make it more affordable or below market rate or whatever the case may be,
Equitable.
equitable, what's the first set of red tapes? Okay, let's just take you for an example, and I'm gonna do this real quick. You trying to buy some land and build a house in Inglewood. You do everything perfectly and you get the loan. You get the loan for $400,000 to build a 3 unit, right? It's gonna be 3 apartments or whatever. You're gonna live in one and you're gonna rent the other two out. That's a perfect model. The first thing that happens is you got to get the architect, and the architect has to get a permit. Your lender has already started your time clock on how when you got to start making those payments back, right? You go to City Hall and you apply for a permit, that shit takes a year to get a permit. Now you done made 12 payments on that loan. You know what I'm saying? With no income coming in. So that's the first thing right there. Is like, okay, Brandon Johnson and whoever is in charge of the building department, time to change that. Yeah, that might be the rule for the big boys downtown and all that type of stuff or whatever. But even they getting their permits quicker. So it's like a whatever you call it, a status change, quid pro quo, whatever you want to call it. But it's like you got something that you're trying to fit us in, and we need something different. We need to be cared for a little more delicate, like a precious egg, than some other people, because we don't have it. So guess what? You don't have your permits, and you finna default on that loan. And when you default on that loan, do you think you're gonna be able to get another one anytime soon? You know what I'm saying? So you've already been set up for failure and not success. So we need more people in these higher levels, the aldermans and the mayors, to really sit and talk to somebody that has the knowledge, not these people out here who think they got the knowledge. Oh man, all you gotta do is just, open up another department and let that department, like, okay, that's a little bit of it, but let me just tell you exactly how you can do this. Why is it that I can go to Country Club Hills or Frankfurt and get a permit in 2 days?
So when I mention programs like the Missing Middle or Cut the Red Tape, what do you say?
I think that's a great start, you know what I'm saying? But those are the things that hinder us, that we have to solve. So basically, you're saying these things to say this is what we need to bring more attention to, and we need to have more of this stuff in place that can help us, become better developers or solve the housing crisis or the affordable housing crisis. And that's what we need. We need activists, and we need people in those rooms to make it happen. And that's all I'm saying is, like, if somebody just took the time out and said, well, what are the issues? What are the issues? And I say we start off with the permit process. You can't have if I ask if I survey 100 people and 90 of them say, "Man, I don't do shit in Chicago, man, because the permit process take too long," right? And let's just say one of those people that I interviewed was a finance company, a major finance company, and they say, "Well, we love Chicago." I said, well, "Why you love Chicago?" Because we know we finna get um, late payments. We finna get extension fees. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to pay us because we're in the business of making money. So when you get along with us, we like Chicago because we know the permit's gonna take forever and they're gonna have to pay like 20 extensions. And each extension is $4,000 a month on top of the mortgage payment or whatever the case may be. So you got all of this, and you mean to tell me that nobody down at City Hall can have somebody to do this research and find out what the problem is and just start over? They just bring in like, hey, you that person retired, we hired you to take that person's place, and you're doing the same stuff that's already been. And
That's why I mentioned so those initiatives, I think those two initiatives were to address those issues that you're talking about right now, the missing middle and cutting the red tape.
no, they don't work to address the issue. That's a good political campaign, if you ask me. That's what that is.
Okay.
Missing middle is let me give you a perfect example of missing middle. All right, we're gonna try to do the infill housing. You know, now if you live in these neighborhoods, the missing middle program does this, this, and this, and this. What is the city really giving you for the missing middle program? Out of all the stuff I just mentioned to you in the Dr. Dev U class, knowing that these are all of the things you got to deal with, what is the missing middle program really giving you? Do you sound like somebody who really know the missing middle program? Come on, what they really giving us?
I'm asking you.
Okay, opportunity to fight for some land, right? That they supposed to give it to us for under market, below market rate. They're not giving it to you for free. Everybody be talking about, oh, the city got free lots and they gonna get you $1 and all that type of stuff. They have a bill on every lot that's $14,000 for the demolition of what was there. So they want to recoup that money any kind of way, and they want to just put these properties back on the tax roll or whatever. So they need to develop them because they just eyesores. Okay, so let's just say you live in that community, I live in that community, and we both going after that same missing middle um, site. Who gonna get it? One of us gonna get it, right? Maybe. Okay, then the person who don't get it go after another one, and they going against somebody else. Do you know what type of social I don't even want to say social, what type of force you're creating with that, with those two people, with those people trying to bid on stuff, and the negative the loss of morale when somebody loses something. You know what I'm saying? Like if I tried to go to the missing middle whatever program and I didn't get that one, and then I tried again, I didn't get that one. Guess what that person getting ready to do? And social media, they say bad news travel like 100 times faster than good news. Oh, that missing middle program ain't crap. It's this. I bid it on 2, 4 projects and never got one. They giving it to the white people. That's all they doing. They setting it up. Boom, boom, boom. You have to thoroughly plan this thing out. You have to thoroughly plan it out for success and not failure. You can't just drop the ball by saying that we got programs that if you bid on it and your application is right and you fit the qualifications and all of this type of stuff, you will be able to get a missing middle property. Okay, now that I got the property, what? Y'all gonna help me get my permits in less than a year? No. You gonna help me get the finance and to pay the architect his $12,000? No. You gonna help me get a lender? Oh, we got grants. Yeah, we love that. We love that term because I don't touch nobody that say I got a grant. I'm like, oh man, okay, well, we know how
By
that
no
works.
means is me advocating or promoting the program, but you do know they just released a round of Black developers who got some big missing middle projects.
Yeah,
So, and I think the expectation, to what I know, the expectation is you already have an architect, you can afford to pay your architect. But I brought those two programs up because that's what we were talking about around equitable how home ownership, but by no means is this me cheerleading. But those are two programs for a specific the reason to address some of these issues with the slow process, the long permits. But I just want to throw it out there. They did, I don't want to drop names, but in the
I
last
know
few
everybody. I know everybody that got them.
so
You looking
never
at
lied.
one, yeah, you look at one who turned them down, and you look at one who has at least 5 clients that were in programs similar to what they just rechanged the name, changed the name to. All it is something else that they just, we're gonna change the name to this now because the other name got a bad, whatever, whatever. And all of these people, I tell them all the time, they're like, "All right, Johnny, well, we got it, man. We got this, and the grant coming and all this type of stuff." And I'd be like, "Okay, when that grant coming again?" I said, "I'm just gonna do this. I bet you $10,000 you never get that grant. You know how many $10,000 I done won off of that? You know how many developers like myself, big developers, we can talk DL3 Realty, we can talk a lot of people. I know we can name drop. Do you know how many projects they've tried to do in the city? And when that grant didn't come, they was like, hey, I don't have enough money to do it. I don't have enough money to do it. All these promises and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to say that they need to have a round table with real people. And I'm gonna probably pub community psychologist. I ain't the only community psychologist in Chicago, but I'm not just a developer. I'm not just an architect. I'm not just an engineer or a GC. I have training that says how to go into these communities and figure out what the problems are and how to package those problems up in a way to where we can sit down in a room and solve them.
Are you
So,
doing any work with the city? Have you reached out to with this?
well, I mean, just like 225 North Elizabeth, right? That was the reason why when you asked a question about which project, blah, 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 I was like, hey, 225, you know why? Because I challenged a very big white developer in Chicago. And I said, I promise you, you never get work in Chicago again. And I'm gonna do that project. And it came to pass. Now, how did it come to pass? Like I said, I know God got his hands on me because they shut their doors 3 months after I started that project. And they were supposed to build that project. And when I left, it was like on some uh whatever that movie was when he was like, "Who's coming with me? Jan, who's coming with me? I'm leaving. Who's coming with me?" I think he was like Jerry Maguire or something. And I was telling all the black people, come with me, man. I'll pay you $200,000 a year. I'll pay you $150,000 a year. Just come with me, man. You know, and that in the last meeting, I was just like, I promise y'all never do work in the city of Chicago again, let alone the United States. I promise you that because I'm gonna work my butt off to expose y'all and all of this stuff that y'all be doing. You know what I'm saying? And it happened. And then I was granted the opportunity through some Chicago political people, you know what I'm saying, from the West Side. And I can say like a couple of aldermen that was like, Johnny, we got you. We know what they've been doing. We gonna make sure you get that project. So I'm not like all negative about the city of Chicago. They've offered me jobs to take on, to be directors and stuff like that. It's like, but see, it's catch 22. If I take that position, then I can't do nothing else. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You got Donald Trump coming out there, everybody now. Like I definitely don't want to be in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fighter, but it's good stuff. I'm just saying that they try to do things so quick and they try to put a band-aid on a bullet wound. You know what I'm saying? No, we gotta do some operation.
Last question. So you partner with some powerhouses that we know, Sterling Bay, McHuff. How important are these types of cross-sector collaborations in pushing for equitable large-scale developments? Basically, by you being a part of this, how important is that in pushing equitable large-scale developments?
So let me just give you an example of a large-scale equitable development. The 1901 project, which is the United Center, right? That family, the Reinsdorf and all of them, guess what? They own the land already and they don't need no loan. Right now, that project is estimated at $7 billion, right? Heart of the West Side. I'm in every meeting, and do you know it's the same thing that I saw in 1992, 2000, 2010, with black people trying to get their hands on some of that development work or whatever, bad mouthing other developers, saying negative stuff about black people, just fighting. And you know what those people are doing? They just sitting back and saying, "We trying, man. Can y'all come together? Can y'all come together and make one good presentation push to get some of this? If it's a $7 billion project, we should be able to get at the far least minimum $700 million of work. I'm gonna go for a billion and 2 billion. Like, hey, y'all should be trying to give us at least $3 billion worth of work. You know what I'm saying? But the people fighting, the organizations, the developers, they always just trying to step on somebody to try to get a little more. And I tried to bring everybody together to say, let's have one leader. And that leader wasn't me. It was somebody else that I was like, this dude should be the leader. You know what I'm saying? They know him. I'm the next man coming up under this black man. They know him very well. He's built a lot of stuff in Chicago, and all of the politicians, the aldermen know him very well. And he stepped out of retirement to help black people come together to get some of this. And them people are over there fighting so hard against each other, bad mouthing, gangbangers, all this type of stuff, to where he's wore out. He's like, Johnny, you're gonna have to take the charge, man, because they didn't. You got black people putting up flyers talking about this dude is on the take, taking money under the table. They just make up stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we really have to figure out how to get a good surgeon to operate on this bullet wound that we have in amongst ourselves as black people. That's why I pushed the whole Dr. Developers You thing, because guess what? We got our hands out begging again because we ain't the developer. Somebody else is. And we coming in saying, can we get a little piece as an architect? Can we get a little piece as an engineer? Can we get a little piece as a contractor? But if we was the developer, do you think we would have this problem? No, we say we hired 70% black people because we don't never have the opportunities. And if you don't use it, you lose it. If I'm an architect and never had a job, am I good at doing that job? Like if I'm supposed to design hospitals and I never designed a hospital, I'm not good at designing hospitals. How can I become good at designing hospitals if I'm able to get bid on those hospital projects and I win some of the awards? So if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's why I'm saying, hey man, I gotta create more developers so we can work our way up to where we own the United Center, where we own the Soldier Fields, or or whatever. Like, we gotta reverse it. And I hate to say it's a part of history, like the first Black Wall Street, all that stuff. That's real good history. Like, why? Causality. Because they didn't accept us. They didn't want our money in their banks. We had to create our own currency, our own financial institutions, our own way of life. We got to survive. And then you get World War II happens and all this stuff, industrial, and they lose all the money. It's like, and they have to come to the black people to get money. And then they say, how they got all this money? Because you never let us do anything with you. And then you want to burn our whole city down and kill it and just disrupt our whole community. That's what we still dealing with. So when I say black against black, it's like, come on, man. It hurts my heart to say, why we still got to figure this part out? We should be like automatically, no, we coming together to go after them and say, hey, man, we want $2 billion worth of this 1901 project. And we got the engineers, we got the developers, we got the architects, we got the builders that know how to do it. Then we take that money and go back to our community and build our own stuff and be the developer.
What's next on your vision board?
So I got some good students that came out of this cohort. One student owns a lot of land right almost across the street from where Coachella is at. So that's a $26 million development that we're working on right now in California. Everybody knows Andre is probably one of my first students. And I told him, I said, I promise you, if you stay with me and you hang with me and you listen and follow every step that I tell you, you'll be building a high rise by like 2027, something like that. You'll be building your first high rise. The people that did the first project under the land bank, like Keith and Dewan and all of them. These are all people I went to school with, and I kind of like assisted them on the way. And they did their first new construction a couple of years ago in Woodlawn, where they built those 3 units and stuff. I was like, now y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? So we have a meeting tomorrow where I'm bringing all of them together. Hey, you guys know how to do new construction. And y'all done did it. Y'all did rehab. Now it's time for us to do something bigger. It's time for us to do bigger projects like the Missing Middle program. If there's some sites, like I got people at the land bank looking for sites now for us to build stuff in South Shore, Woodlawn, even downtown, where our people can enjoy it too. And we can be a part of the whole um, skyline or whatever the case may be. So these are the things that's on my vision board. Nothing has anything to do with Dr. Mullins personally. I'm straight. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Now I've afforded myself the time and the availability to assist other people because we all got like a expiration clock. You know what I'm saying? So how can I leave a mark? That's what I'm passionate about, is creating more Black developers.
Thank you, Dr. Johnny Mullins.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure interviewing you. And this conversation was so fruitful and entertaining.
Well, great. I always like talking to you. You go straight to the point too. And I think together, if you be the activist, and I'm in the rooms, we can make some stuff happen, man.
Let's talk about it. Thanks for tuning in to Someone You Need to Know. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast on all major platforms and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rashanah B, for more inspiring stories. Until next time, keep shining, keep building, and keep making the world a better place, one story at a time.